Layout is the basic filmmaking part of the process. We build the foundation of the film. We take the models and the storyboards, and we construct each shot. We grab the sets, the characters, the cameras, put everything together, get it ready for animation. In this process, we face a lot of problems. So problem solving is a big part of our day, and I'd like to show you some of the tricks we used to solve problems we found on Toy Story. There's a right and a wrong way to compose over-the-shoulder shots. This is a typical movie situation. You put an imaginary line between the heads of the two characters and make sure the camera doesn't cross that line. It sometimes gets called the stage line, sometimes the line of action. If the camera crosses the line, notice how Woody is suddenly replaced by Buzz. Just as in live-action filmmaking, keeping the camera on the correct side of the line makes sure that, well, in this case, Woody stays on the right and Buzz stays on the left, and the audience doesn't get lost. What do you do when you have one character who's a lot taller than the other and they have to talk together? Well, this problem was faced in old Alan Ladd films, where his leading lady was often much taller than he was. They would dig a little trench for her to walk in as they paced along in a two-shot. So we called this trenching. We would bury Woody 2 or 3 centimeters into the ground to get his face down closer to Buzz. And in this view, you can also see that animators don't animate what isn't in the frame. For this shot in the Army Man sequence, we had to do a substitution. One paratrooper model had the parachute rolled up and on his back, and a completely different model had the parachute that could open. We needed to swap them during the shot. So the two who jump off at the head of the shot are pulled in underneath the stairs, and waiting below, just out of camera view, were the two with the opening chutes. This side view shows that the first 2 paratroopers get pulled out of the way, and there are 2 with parachutes waiting just out of camera view. The audience never knows what happened. For this shot of Buzz and Woody flying, we had an interesting problem. When animation finished with it, they were really moving about 5 miles an hour, and the camera was pointing diagonally up into the sky. So to give the illusion of the right thing happening, I put another camera on the street and zipped it past the trees. We then rendered the background from that camera and composited Buzz and Woody in front. In this sequence, we had a little bit of a problem. This is where Buzz has just gone out the window and the toys are really upset. The storyboards were drawn as though Andy's desk were the size of a soccer field. And in fact, we did cheat up the size of the desk for this sequence. But it was so tricky to figure out, we ended up standing up with each other in the screening room doing practically a square dance, figuring out how we were going to block it out. We also had an interesting requirement. Our normal stage line in this movie had Sid's house on the left, Andy's house on the right, and we had moved that line around. We needed to get it back where it belonged before Andy came through the door. So that big whirling camera move around Woody while he's being attacked with the Army Men was just to put the stage line back where it belonged.
Okay, Mom, be right down. I've got to get Buzz.